Come and dream with me.
Hello, welcome to this What Do You Want to Watch Spoilercast for the second Zach Snyder film of the year, Army of the Dead. I'm Ash Tilbley. Joining me today, Dylan Blight.
I love zombies. I usually like Zack Snyder films and spoilers.
Spoilers. Alright, please be aware we'll be freely discussing anything, everything about the plot, themes, and ending of the film. So if you haven't watched it, it's on Netflix. Come back later. So with that said, let's jump to our discussion of Army of the Dead, directed by Zach Snyder, screenplay by Zach Snyder, Shay, Hatten, and Joby Harold, based on story by Zach Snyder, starring Bautista, Purnell, Omari, Hardwick, Arnezeder, Reguera, Theo, Rossi, Matthias, Schweighöfer, Nora, Arnezeder, Hiroyuki Sanada, Notaro, Raúl, Castillo, Huma, Qureshi, and Garret, Dillahunt. After a zombie outbreak in Las Vegas, a group of mercenaries take the ultimate gamble by venturing into the quarantine zone for the greatest heist ever. Dylan, what were your expectations going in, and what did you think of the film?
Expectations were a okay, entertaining zombie film that had good action but a muddled Zack Snyder plot. And what I got instead was dull action, boring story things, and a movie that made me consistently check my figurative watch, I mean my phone, and also open Twitter because I was fucking bored out of my mind, which is not really something you want to say in any movie, but also not in particular an action horror film. You know, like it's really a genre that's supposed to keep you entertained at all points, but no, I thought this was utter drivel. This is I don't know if maybe it's I watched it like a week ago, so maybe I can say this, but let me just double check, do a quick scan here before I don't speak too highly. Zack Snyder films. No, I think this is his worst movie.
Wow.
I'm looking at it.
You liked it more you disliked it more than Sucker Punch?
Yep. I'm not. Sucker Punch would be just above this, but I think Sucker Punch in its current form.
You disliked it more than Legends of the Guardians, Hours of Ga'Hoole?
Oh, I like that actually. I actually did like that.
Look forward to it. We'll have to check it out sometime.
Yeah,
but yeah, worst movie.
Yep.
All right.
I'm the Snyderverse, DC Snyderverse apologist. So.
Yes, so take that.
Yeah.
Yeah, this was very meh. You know, it was pretty. I think it's long, gratuitous, like kind of self-indulgent. And it's just kind of slow. It was not the movie I was expecting at all. Based on the trailers, the cast, Zack Snyder, I thought it would be like a full-on like gore fest or like full-on action from pillar to post, but it's far from that. I tell you what, the first 10 minutes or so set the bar high.
Cool. Yeah.
And it just never met that again.
No.
As soon as that musical intro ends, it's like, oh.
Yawn.
Yeah. There's not a lot more interesting after that, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Oh, well, there's things that make you go, what? I don't know if I can.
There's lots of those, but
yeah, I think that's a distinction. There's stuff that makes you go, what? That doesn't mean it's necessarily interesting.
It was stuff that but I was already bored, and I'm already like not really paying attention to the movie because I was so bored. So I'm quickly scanning Twitter, and then all of a sudden there's a zombie fetus on the screen. Look up for a couple seconds and go, what? But then it goes back to be boring, so I just go back to Twitter.
Yeah, there's a whole interesting thing whole thing about this alpha zombie subject number one who causes the zombie outbreak. Nothing is ever explained about his backstory or what anything.
Well, Ash, actually, if you
well, we'll get to that. But
There's lots of Zack Snyder hidden background bullshit in this.
yeah,
Like background little information things.
in the movie or
in the movie.
Okay,
Yeah.
So apparently, this zombie got another zombie pregnant, and they were going to have an undead baby, but
A prince.
yeah.
I don't honestly. If you want to start with this, I don't know. I did not understand what this plot point was for. I don't get.
Was it to make you feel bad for the zombies?
I mean, if that's
were
it,
we
it didn't
rooting
work.
for the zombies in the end?
I don't know. No, I mean, I wasn't rooting for anyone. I was just like nuke Earth at this stage. I don't give a fuck.
Well, they came close.
You know,
that was the real hero of the film.
They killed the one good character, and I was like, I stopped caring at this stage.
Which character was you? Did you actually like?
The German.
The
German. Well, you know what? Actually, him and old mate, who's in the after credits. That's not an after credit scene.
Epilogue, yeah.
Yeah. Those two, the best characters in the film. They actually had some sort of chemistry back and forth, humor. You know, like there's some fun stuff happening between those two. Everyone else in this film, nah, don't care.
No. Okay.
Which is good because he's getting a prequel.
Yeah, we'll get to that. We'll get to this new side of Snyderverse. I think they build up a potentially interesting world in which there's been this zombie war, and they've kind of fought them back to one point. You know? They've kind of cordoned them off. And there could have been a cool story about how this zombie world works or whatever. Or it could have been a cool story about them blasting their way through, trying to get this bunch of money and get out. A cool heist movie. But it never does either well at all. You know, it doesn't follow through on the heist element, you know?
It's not a good zombie movie, and it's not a good heist movie because I don't even think, like, I know he kept pitching this as a heist movie, but this isn't a heist movie.
No.
Like, just because they go to a vault and take some money out does not make it a heist movie. You know, if you want to compare that to actual heist movies, there's no, like, cool planning to it. There's no, like, they have that one sequence where they're doing, like, the imaginary, you'll walk up there.
Getting the team together, that's it.
Yeah, but otherwise, like, what's the heist? They have to overcome a couple traps and they use a zombie? No, it's not a heist movie.
No, they offer up one guy as sacrifice, and and then they're able to walk around freely.
No, I mean, like, in the actual room, like, how they get that zombie to go over the couple traps. I was like, what, is that the, like, most heisty sort of, like, overcoming the traps in the safe room?
Yeah, it's yeah. I can't believe how boring this was. I mean, yeah. I don't know what else to say about this movie because
I mean, there's lots. I feel like there's lots to say, but it's just ultimately it's just very fucking. Yeah, it just was very boring. Like nothing I have to say is like from like my positives are very small, minimum. As I said, I enjoyed those two characters. I think obviously there's a typical Zack Snyder. He does get some cool shots as per usual. You know, no one ever sort of argues that Zack Snyder can get some cool moments like shots here, there, like freeze frame that looked cool kind of thing. But otherwise, the idea, as you just said, like the premise for the movie or the premise for this world is cool. Like as far as a zombie world goes, and in a world now where we've had so many different types of zombie films and outbreaks and this sort of stuff, like the idea of this one where they fought them back and contained them, that's a cool idea. But really, when I finished the movie, my first thought was like, this feels like the third movie in a zombie franchise where it's just nowhere near as good as the first two.
Where you're bringing the band back together one last time.
Yeah, or it's just like completely different characters than the first. Like, if this feels like the third movie where the first two had the same core cast, and this is the third movie where they couldn't pay them
enough, yeah.
And they've got different characters.
Or they all got too big, yeah.
Yeah. So this is what this feels like, where it's like, it's just nowhere near as good. It's got off the rails now. But it's the first movie, you know?
But
like, it feels like it's the first one. So that says a lot, I feel. You know?
It does. Yeah, Dave Bautista, I mean, I like him, but, you know, his character was kind of, yeah.
Yeah, I like Dave Bautista. I think,
you know,
Dave
I did enjoy the running gag of him coming
up
up with different food truck ideas.
Yeah.
That was amusing.
Yeah, it was all right.
So few. Everybody's
Like, they were trying to do something, and I don't think it was his fault. I just think on the page that character was just very boring, not particularly engaging.
Yeah.
His relationship with his daughter, meh, I hated it.
No.
Not particularly interesting. The whole subplot about the daughter running off to save that woman, that was probably one of the worst parts of the movie because they spend so much on it, and then she just she dies in a helicopter crash, I guess, and they don't spend any moment on it. I'm like, well, this was like a big part of the movie. The daughter comes solely to save this person. She nearly dies to save this person. They get on a helicopter and then got no credits. And I'm like, what?
Yes, and the lady he came with to save didn't help at all.
Nope.
During that helicopter thing. It's interesting reading later that obviously Notaro's character was added in...
Which one?
Effective Notaro, the helicopter.
All right, okay.
She was added in post because Christy Ella, or whatever his name was, who did originally obviously had a lot of stuff come out about his past before the movie was released. So he was replaced.
I didn't know any of this.
Yeah. So, I mean, I think that kind of works. It's interesting that it did work.
They had to reshoot a bunch of stuff then. That her ended.
Not really. She wasn't, across from anybody, in the same scene. You know?
Yeah.
It'd be like, you see her back in the helicopter, but other than that, I mean... The scene where she's introduced, they're talking to her through a fence.
I did a quick Google there. It says Snyder hired comedian Notaro to replace Diella. Notaro was filmed alone and inserted into the film for all of the scenes Diella was in via green screen and other special effects. Yeah, because I was about to say, there are scenes where she's there with the rest of them.
Yeah.
So it's literally, they've just pasted her over here.
Over the top, yeah. Yeah. So I think that's pretty seamless, so you got to be impressed by that a little bit.
Yeah, that's
that
pretty good.
obviously you couldn't tell. But yeah, there's so much in this that's kind of not explained or you mentioned to me. I watched this in two parts because I was falling asleep.
Yeah, tell this story. Yeah.
I did. I was falling asleep because I started at 10:30, not realizing.
So if it was engaging though, if it was
engaging,
good,
I would have stayed up.
Stayed awake. It would have filled you with energy. Yeah.
No. So I finished. I paused. We record something in between.
Yep.
You tell me, Ash, did you notice the robot zombies? I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? So apparently there's robot zombies in this film.
Now, did you spot them when you finished the rest of the movie?
I did. I think I spotted one. I think it's when... What's his face? The YouTube sensation dude shoots one of the last ones.
Yeah, we could have. I can't remember. There's several. I saw at least 3 or 4, I think. So, but there could be more. So,
but you said Zach Snyder gave an interview where he confirmed there was zombies.
Well, here's my quick story. I'll retell it for the sake of the podcast. I finished this movie. I go, most of this movie looked really good. Why the fuck were the special effects so bad on some of these zombies where they had a weird blue glow or a weird silver? I don't know what was going on. All I know is I noticed something at some stage and then I was noticing it more. And I thought it was unfinished, bad special effects. So I Googled, after finishing the film, something along the lines of Army of the Dead, zombie faces, zombie special effects. I don't know. I can't even remember. Anyway, I find a story. I can't remember what website it was on, but I find a story where it's an interview with Zach Snyder, and the interviewer doesn't ask Zach Snyder about the robot zombies at all. He asks him something completely different, and then Zach Snyder in his interview swings back with his own question and goes, "Yeah, but what do you think about the robot zombies?" And then the interviewer goes, "The what?" And he says, the robot zombies. Did you notice them? And the interviewer said, "No, I did not. But since you brought it up, why are there robot zombies in the movie?" And then Zach Snyder, having brought up this topic, Fred, that the interviewer didn't even know about, says, wouldn't you like to know? And he doesn't explain it at all. And it's very obviously a Zack Snyder, here's a thing I'll put in for later because he's building this whole zombie verse or whatever we're calling it. So there are zombie robot zombies. Amongst they're not all robots. That's not what I'm to clarify. I'm not saying that all the zombies in this film are robots, but there are some that are robots.
Yeah.
Why? I don't know.
Don't know. Is it the government putting robot zombies in there so they can keep track of what the zombies are doing amongst them? But then why are they attacking the people?
I don't know. So the other thing I was going to say is the crate at the start, where the alpha zombies in it, has apparently, according to Reddit, it has a plaque on it that says like Iraq or something. So they were taking it to Iraq. Or it was somewhere like Iraq or Iran or something. So the theory is, the theory that I've seen, this isn't my theory, this is what I've read, and I kind of buy it. So zombie films are, if you do a good zombie film and you want to do a zombie film that's inspired by the late great George A. Romero, you're making a zombie film that's fun, gory, but also has a political message at heart. Because that's what he started. Like, Romero zombie films were horror films, but they always had a political message hidden within them. And that's followed through to some of the zombie films. So people reckon that the hidden message, well, not so hidden message in this, is Snyder's making it as a, like, they're talking about how the president willy-nilly just nukes Las Vegas, doesn't really look for a bad solution. So they're saying, like, well, that's, like, inspired by Trump, just having, like, a willy-nilly sort of figure. And then they're also saying, well, it's maybe it's not exactly Trump, but like bad political leaders in America or whatever. And they're saying that the zombie could have been a bioweapon created by the American government that they were shipping over to Iraq or Iran or wherever it was, to let loose there as an act of terrorism by the United States that wouldn't have been able to be tracked back to the United States. So that's the going theory, which I can buy. That seems like a relatively straightforward, thing that could be a plot for a film. It doesn't really add up to it doesn't explain the robot, sorry, but that's yeah. So that's where apparently that was going, Iraq or Iran or something like that.
Okay. Anything else you want to discuss? Obviously, the ending, the epilogue. Old mate, he got bit by a zombie. I don't know how.
Sequels in Mexico.
New Mexico, yeah. Anything you want to discuss about this particular film before we talk about spin-offs?
Yeah, so there was something, but I fucking forgot. I can't actually remember now. Oh, the tiger. Really cool design.
Yeah.
I felt like that scene with that dickhead at the end.
Garret,
they were trying to do like the Revenant. They were trying to do the Revenant or something, but it wasn't anywhere near good. You haven't seen that,
it was
but
just too long.
But you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, I know. If Leonardo DiCaprio gets beaten up by a bear.
Yeah. I feel like they may have wanted to do something like that, and they probably just should have committed and done something.
They should have just had the tiger rip his head off.
Like it was a bit gory when he slashed his face, but it was nowhere near as thrilling as the scene in Revenant, because they take their time to really build the dread and like the realism of that. And you could be like, well, it's not realistic, so it's a fucking zombie tiger. Well, it's like, well, you can make anything realistic if you do a good job, like.
Yeah, definitely. So this isn't going to be the end of this Snyderverse of zombie Snyderverse. I don't know, whatever. We are getting Thieves of the Dead, a prequel movie starring Matthias Schweighöfer as Ludwig, the safecracker. Let me see. I haven't got any sort of description, but the producer classified the genre as a romantic comedy heist film, takes place during the early stages of the zombie pandemic portrayed in the previous film, stating takes place in a world where their zombies exist in America and it's causing instability in the banking institution. They're moving money around, so it's a perfect opportunity for a heist. Like you said, not the first person I would have picked for a prequel film, but yeah, that's coming sometime this year. It's already been shot. They finished filming it back in December last year. Also starring Natalie Emmanuel, who people would know from the Fast Saga. Yeah. And it's being directed by Matthias Schweighöfer, who is a famous German actor. And
he's apparently huge in like I Wikipedia'd him, and it says that he's, according to the wikis, huge, big German superstar actor.
Yeah.
So
he's been in Rabbit Without Ears and Rabbit Without Ears 2. So
Huge.
And Russian Disco. So
Love them.
And play Bill the movie as the German Rex Dasher.
I'll be honest, I'm pretty keen for this because what are we talking about here? Where we're like, this world is cool, like that Snyder set up, and there's like as far as zombie worlds go, it's intriguing and stuff. And he was my favorite character in it. I thought he was really great. I love Emmanuel, Nathalie Emmanuel. Fuck, every time I struggle. Love her in Fast and Furious and Game of Thrones and stuff. So like from a cast and all that sort of stuff, I'm pretty keen for this. Like I especially because it's not Snyder directing, so I'm like, he fucked it up. Like I'd go into the sequel to that he's directing a little bit more wary, whereas this has a completely different director, different cast, everything, like different tone. So I'm keen for this one. Even as much as I thought this movie was bad, I would be keen to watch this.
Okay. Then we're also getting an animated prequel series, Army of the Dead, Lost Vegas, which will get Dave Bautista and Ella Purnell, and Reguera, Notaro, and Omari Hardwick back as their characters from this film, but going to be have the main protagonist played by Joe Manganiello. This seems like this is going to be the 2 films that you said that were going to be set before this one. Really get into into the zombie wars. Yeah.
So Joe Manganiello was the cast member that cost too much to get back for the 3rd film.
Yeah.
Is it? Also, he's going to die by the end of it.
Yeah.
Like it's, that's it. Again, I'm keen for this. Zach Snyder, I believe, is involved, but he's not actually directing it. I think it's old mate who does a bunch of the DC stuff, or at least some of it.
Jay Olivia is
that's the one.
Developed it.
Yeah, and he does a bunch of those, and he's done some of the best DC animated, original animated films, in my opinion. So I'm pretty keen for it. And Netflix has a pretty good track record with their original animated and anime series and this sort of stuff. So again, I feel like just because this movie was a letdown, I don't feel like that means the rest of these projects have to be, because there are some exciting elements here. And even if I didn't love like Dave Bautista's character and stuff, maybe he's more interesting in this, like, I don't know. Again, this seems good. And also, by the way, I just want to say how weird, kind of crazy it is that Netflix, before this film was even out, is like, not greenlit other projects, but completed filming one. And this is apparently this animation stuff's been happening. So this would be, halfway done, 3/4 done, nearly done. I don't know where they're at, but it's already in the works. So it's been worked on. So kind of mad, but yep.
Yeah. All right. Let us know what you thought of Army of the Dead and the upcoming Army of the Dead properties. Let us know on Twitter by going to explosionnetwork.com/Twitter. Let us know what you think the universe should be called. Zombieverse, Zombie Snyderverse, Zackverse, Zack Zombiesverse. We need an answer. Or jump into our Discord at explosion.com/Discord. If you like this episode, we thought it was about $1. And why wouldn't you on that last 30 seconds of evidence? You can go to our Ko-fi page over at explosion.com/support. Every little bit of financial help helps a lot here at the Explosion Network, keeping this beautiful website running. Thank you very much for listening. Until next time, keep watching stuff, I guess.